This podcast is brought to you by the Spur of the Moment podcast and by Boger Cabinetry.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Party Broadway World podcast, and it is the first episode of the new year. So today we're gonna talk with Tony from. Today we're gonna talk about with Tony from the Disney another Disney podcast, and so we're gonna. Let's just invite him in.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. Good. And where are you from, Haley?
I am from Michigan.
Oh, God, it's cold up there.
It is. It's snowing too. So yay.
You have to move to Florida. It's 77 today.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
It's nice and warm.
So, first of all, thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast.
Yeah, love to.
As you can see, I have like all my Disney 3D puzzles. So I'm a
cool.
very big fan of Disney and probably
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't see. I have 2 bookcases filled with Toy Story collectibles over here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're off to my side. And sadly, I just recently sold the rest of my pin collection off. They were just sitting in boxes, and they weren't out on display, so I just sold it all to one guy. I said, "Here, take them. Go make other people happy with them now." So
It's sad, but
yeah,
I mean, at least it's gonna make other people happy.
I can't take it with me.
Right.
And my kids are like, "Hey, when you die, make sure you have price tags on everything so we know what to sell it for."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
Ugh. So so again, thank you for agreeing to come on. I've watched your podcast for let's say like 2-3 months now.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mhm. And I
Yeah.
love what you do. I love what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. We've been doing it I've been doing it for over 12 years, and then I've had a lot of people come and go. So
Mhm.
it's my little passion project, and I just keep the little engine running.
Mhm. And the name of your podcast is Disney Parks Podcast, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
We stole that right after they made the blog.
Oh,
They
I
started Disney Parks blog, and I said, "Oh, podcast right at the end of that. That's perfect. Let's go."
I didn't even put that together until you said something. Oh my gosh.
I've been waiting for 12 years for them to steal it from me and say, like, "No, you can't have that. That's ours." But they haven't done it, so I keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the day that they finally do, and then
I'll get a letter from some lawyer and saying, "Hey, that's not right." I'll say, "All right, well, you can pay me for it. I'll take a little money in this hand."
Oh, it's so funny. So I wanted to bring you on because over the past really couple of months,
Mhm.
there's been so much Disney news and Disney
Yeah.
parks and everything.
Right.
With closures and then with like new things coming, and
Yep. Yeah.
I wanted to pick your brain about
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
about some stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to first talk about the big thing that's happened recently where they have just announced where Monsters Inc. Land's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people are angry.
They're literally dropping the monsters on the Muppets and crushing them. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. We had a lot of speculation on where that was going to go. Like where are they going to put that attraction? My thought was, somewhere attached to Toy Story Land.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can, go from Andy's room to the Monster World, somewhere through there. Like the end of, Pixar Place, kind of where Edna used to be in that area. That was option one. The other option I thought would have been the animation courtyard. Could have rethemed it, gotten rid of Launch Bay, which seems out of place now. Why is Star Wars here, here, and here? Right? You have Launch Bay, you have Star Tours, and then you have the land.
Mm-hmm.
Just get rid of Launch Bay. It's useless. It's meet and greet. Put the meet and greet in the themed land, and the kids' activity thing. The little play area kind of with the show didn't seem like that still fit in that area either. So that would have been another great place to drop it. But I think what they're going to do is Muppets going to obviously go away. The restaurant will probably be rethemed to some kind of. Now they have two restaurants. They have Pizza Rizzo and Mama
Mm-hmm.
Melrose, and the attraction is going on top of Mama Melrose.
Yeah, and I heard that one of the restaurants is going to be Harryhausen's.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I think both of those things have to get replaced. You have to replace the restaurant and the quick service. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just replace one because that park has the least amount of sit-down restaurants than any other park. There's only uh, Hollywood and Vine, 50 Prime Time, and Brown Derby, and
Mm-hmm.
then the rest are quick service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the quick service is outside. Toy Story quick services, uncovered, unair conditioned. Down Sunset Boulevard, all those are uncovered, unair conditioned. The one by Star Tours is inside. ABC Commissary is inside, and the terrible sci-fi restaurant, which terrible food, still exists, which probably could be rethemed, get a new menu, get new food because it's old and dated. So they chose the Muppet Courtyard to, make monsters their home. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that they would redo Rock and Roll Coaster with Queen. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that would be a great band. They've been around a long time. But we're gonna see what they're gonna do with the Muppets and see how they can, fit the Muppets into, a high-speed thrill coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's a lot of work to be done, and that also will bump right up against well, the failed Star Wars Hotel, and it will, I think, go over um, the cast member entrance, so they may have to move um, their entrance into their parking lot because I
Mm-hmm.
think from the picture I saw, it's going to exceed the land and it's going to cross over that road. So they may have to push the road out to get into their parking lot. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
That was all going to fit. And we
Mm-hmm.
really don't know all the details, right? They just sent us an image and then everybody goes and looks at the Google Maps and or Google Earth, see, all right, it's going to be here, here. They dropped this over here. So we don't know until, construction actually begins and, walls go up. Once the walls go up, then we have a better idea of what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
well, let's see, this winter, will be Destination D down here in Florida. So maybe we'll get some updates in the end of the year of what's going on there.
A lot of my friends who used to work at the park
Mhm,
or are still like just Disney enthusiasts,
mhm.
we were all talking about and like speculating where it was going to go, and a lot of us had guessed where it is going to go, and we were
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. It's I always try to think, well, why would they put it there, and I always look at the map and go, because Disney's plan always was to stay inside, the berm, the little hidden wall that they build around their parks, but they seem to be now crossing that berm uh, and just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Tron was on the other side of the berm, which was the railroad tracks. Villains is going to happen on the other side of the berm. So I think they've like, okay, let's stop trying to fit it in the square we made, and let's
Mhm.
just figure out how to fit it anywhere.
Right.
You know.
I mean, speaking of like Tron and like and everything, like I have to say, I don't love where Tron is.
No, I mean it fits in the themed area, right? It's space, it's Space Mountain, it's tomorrow-ish. You know,
Does it? I don't really know if it does.
it's futuristic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a lot more than the Speedway.
Yeah. True. That's that. But yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've had cars for quite a long time now. That's not really tomorrow anymore. It's more like the past.
It's yesteryear.
Now, if they were all Tesla cars, well, okay, I can wrap my head around that maybe.
Tesla cars.
You know.
Retheme.
Yeah. Well, they did in Disneyland, California. They made them Honda cars, and they're all electric. They got
Oh, I
rid
didn't
of
know that.
yeah, they got rid of the gas. Yeah, they're all electric cars in
I
Disneyland.
had no
California.
idea.
Yeah. So I'm just I thought they were going to turn ours into like a Wreck-It Ralph, a Vanellope kind of race thing and make them electric, but they haven't gotten to that yet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars, I love how they are adding cars
Mhm.
land kind of like
Yeah.
that ride to where Big Thunder Mountain, like near Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. We're not getting the good cars. California Adventure's got the good cars.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
that land is fantastic. Have you ever been to that? California
Mm-mm.
Adventure? Oh my gosh.
Mm.
California Adventure Cars Land is like you are walking onto the movie set.
Mhm.
It looks exactly like that portion of the movie.
Mhm.
Everything is where you would see it in the movie. It is like spectacular. And their attraction is like Test Track on steroids. It is like
Mhm.
way past Test Track. I mean, it's a fantastic ride. We're getting a kind of Duncan.
Kind of like a poor man's
Yeah, this is what we can fit in this space. You'll have to live with it.
a poor man's Cars Land.
Correct. Correct. So if you go on YouTube and you search for, Imagineering put out a video. They created a dirt track. I don't know where. I think in California. Created a dirt track and ran like dirt four-wheelers on this track to see what it would feel like and look like and what the point of view from us participants would be. So they set up a track with different humps and loop-de-loos and turns so that they can see, all right, this is what it's going to look like when people ride this. How can we make this great? Now we don't know what technology they're using. They haven't said it's going to be like Test Track, it's going to be like this. We don't know, but at least they've created a track, a real dirt track. So we're going to see what it, so they can see what it's going to feel like and look like. So if you go watch that video, it gives you a little perspective on what they're thinking about this attraction. And hopefully the theming will be as great as California Adventure. That was built by John Lasseter. That was a real passion project for him. And sometimes I feel like Disney's missing that passion. I mean, John Lasseter, was the Disney, what was his last title? Creative director. And he cared. He wanted the attractions to be like you were in the movie. You were feeling, what it was like to be those characters in that movie. And I think now they just, slap attraction together, theme it a little bit, and then go, yeah, that's fine. That looks pretty good.
So today's episode is sponsored by the Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. Come join us every Saturday. We're going to do this. We're going to sit here. We're going to talk about the news. Time to talk about the Minecraft.
Okay.
It looks bad. We're going to talk about movies. That new Joker movie is apparently terrible, and I want to see it so badly because I hear it's awful. We're gonna make some jokes. We're gonna have some laughs.
There's a lot of funny jokes in there. There's a lot of weird jokes in there. The Channing Tatum one will always make me laugh, especially when you hear the behind the scenes stuff. Like when you hear the behind the scenes story of how they just phoned them up.
We're occasionally gonna have other people along for the ride.
A really fun fact though is I learned last year that that Coraline was Leica and not Disney.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I can see why you would make that mistake. Yeah. Because it does seem like it's a different. And to be fair,
that would be a horrifying, terrible Disney movie.
It would be because yeah. And we're just gonna have a generally good time. George, do you have anything else you want to say about our podcast? Make people watch it.
We watch movies. Sometimes we watch shows, but we always have fun.
Here
On the spur. 3, 2, 1. On the spur of the podcast moment.
Yeah, we nailed it. Nailed it. Podcast. Yeah. It's Spur of the Moment podcast every Saturday. We nailed it.
You can expect awesome content like that.
We cut flawless promos every single week.
I don't feel like there's like a lot of love put into that attraction, into some attractions.
Right.
When I go now, it's just like things that seem slapped together.
Yeah. And if you think about the last few attractions that have opened, Tron, Tiana's, Star Tours, Star Wars, Resistance. All of those recent attractions that have opened have had some pretty tough starts, right? They've been down a lot. They would shut down half the day. They don't only can make it to lunchtime, and then the attraction would fail, and then maybe it would come up by nighttime again. So I don't feel like they're doing their due diligence in their testing and preparation to send these things live for 18 hours a day. And Disneyland's Tiana just got off the virtual queue. It's now a walk-up ride. Ours has not because of its inconsistent reliability. They still have not removed it from the virtual queue because of the inconsistent reliability. So, maybe a little more testing needs to be put into the plan rather than just flipping the switch and go, well, they'll test it as we go. Leave it up to the, people that are paying $130 a day to come here.
Yeah.
To test it for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. But speaking of Tiana's though, I'm not real. This might sound like mean, but like, cause I haven't rode Tiana's yet, so I don't really know how it is.
Right.
But I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. So, it was based on the movie Song of the South. Now, if you were to ask any 20-year-old, 30-year-old, even teenager, say, hey, what's the movie The Song of the South about? They would have no idea because one, they've never seen it. Disney's banned it from everything in existence. So ripping that out, is great, but you're replacing it with Tiana, and I don't know how long that relevance will stick around too, right? Because sooner or later, we're not going to remember that movie, I don't think it's as popular as Cars, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Snow White. Pick a half a dozen movies. I don't think it was as popular as some of the other movies they could have put in there. And they literally did nothing to the track. They just replaced the animatronics, and that was it. The track is exactly the same. So you're just saying different things in the same place, and that's it.
Well, because also the things that I've heard too is like they got rid of that Splash Mountain because it was like problematic. Yeah.
I've seen the movie Song of the South. I wouldn't call it racist. There's for that period in time that was correct.
Yeah.
Sadly, but that was correct.
Yeah.
Was it good? No, but you can't erase history, and you can't go back and change history. And that's what Disney's trying to do. They're trying to
Yeah.
erase it and change it, and you
Yeah.
can't do that.
No.
You learn from the history, and then you move forward from it. We made
Mhm.
this mistake, now we got to go forward. And that's the way I think of it, but they're trying to erase it and change it and remove it. And that's not the right method. So next time you come down, you'll take a ride on it, and then you'll go, oh, it's the same thing. Just different characters. The music's changed and the characters are in different places. Okay. They should have left like Brer Fox somewhere, just as a little nod to Splash.
Just in the corner somewhere, or
yeah.
just like
Like laughing or rolling on the floor.
yeah.
So
Put Briar Rabbit somewhere, maybe.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nods to, Mr. Toad in Winnie the Pooh, or 20,000 Leagues is in Winnie the Pooh. There's, when they rip something out, they usually leave something behind. This, they just seem to rip out and leave nothing behind. So.
I never even knew about the photo in Winnie the Pooh, and I saw a TikTok video on it.
Right.
And so every time I go to Disney World now and ride that ride, I make sure to like look over and see that and take a picture of it, because I'm like, that's just so cool.
Yeah. And the tree out front of Winnie the Pooh, where you can't walk through it because you have to only be 6 inches high. But if you stick your head in there, there's a Nautilus carved in the wall, and that's a nod to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which was across the street from it.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to get into this the Villain's Land now for a little bit. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place.
No, that's fine.
Love that we're finally getting a Villain's Land.
Mhm.
Love that.
Right.
I've been protesting for that for like years, because the villains need their land.
Right.
Don't love the villain show in that they're putting in Hollywood studios, because that doesn't seem like a good place.
Yeah, that's temporary. That is a test.
Okay.
So they're going to put that show there, and I don't think it was going to last long. I'd probably maybe say 3 months, 6 years, 3 months, 6 months, something like that. And then they'll probably change it to something else or put something else in there. And I think what they're trying to do is figure out how scary can something be without making small kids cry.
Yeah.
How many villains, or how scary can we get this, or what can we do to still make this entertaining, maybe a little frightful. I mean, they took out, like in California too, like it used to be what was it, Snow White Scary Adventure, and then they put Not So Scary Adventure because no kid wanted to go on it, so they had to change the name of it because kids going, scary, no, I'm not going in there. So I think they're trying to figure out to what level they can do this. That theater, when they built it, it's what they call a black box theater. So it's literally a high-tech theater where the intent was that they can swap shows in and out, because it was just a stage with lighting, and that's it. There was no seats, no nothing like that, so they can make the stage as big or small as they needed to fit whatever show they wanted to do there. And it started off as Club Disney. It was just like a place to go sit, recharge. They had a small kiosk in there to buy drinks and pretzels, I think. Then they turned it into a villains nighttime show, where it was a ticketed event. You buy an extra ticket and go see a villain show. And now they're trying to figure out, for the Villains Land, what can we do in there? So I think we're going to see different concepts going through that theater now for Villains Land, and maybe even Cars too, and monsters. I think, and all of those things that they're trying to build right now may be tested in that theater. So I don't expect that show to stay a very long time, but I think they're going to put something together and try it in there, and even think of this, for the cruise ships too, because now they can test shows in that theater as well that they might want to put on the Destiny, right? They haven't put villains on a cruise ship yet, and I think this is another way they're gonna go is, they put the Haunted Mansion lounge currently, but I think they're gonna try and put villains on a cruise ship, and I think it
Mm.
might be the Destiny, which is up. So
Mhm.
keep that in mind when you're watching that show.
Yeah, because I think where my mind went was like, if they're doing a Villain's Land, why not just put that show in Villain's Land? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
There definitely will be a show in Villains Land, but this is the pilot test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't really, it was interesting that they decided to put it in the Magic Kingdom because that's supposed to be the happiest place on Earth. And is it going to be happy now that we have villains in there?
Semi happy.
I don't know. So that was an interesting choice. I wasn't, all right, it really wouldn't fit in Epcot. Where would you put villains in Epcot? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
The studios kind of makes a little sense, because that's about, I don't know, shows and movies and TV and stuff. So might have fit a little bit, but Magic Kingdom was like, really? Okay, we'll see.
I mean, to me, Magic Kingdom makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
they have all the princesses and stuff there,
yeah,
and like
mm,
the villains like counterparts. So it's like,
yeah,
why not
yeah,
just put the villains there too? So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all lumped into one.
Right. And I think that is also going to be a land that's going to be on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have a feeling once they start getting construction going, they're going to shut down the train again for another 2 years until they build the Villains Land. And then, because I have a feeling they're going to build another tunnel and a walkway over the train track like they did for Tron. And we're not going to see the train again for 2 years, which makes me sad. I'm a big
Yeah.
Disney train fanatic.
Hmm.
So hopefully they can save that part to the end.
Yeah. I can't remember. Is the train the one that takes you to Rafiki's Planet Watch, or is that
No, that's in Animal Kingdom.
that's
This is
Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, this is the regular
This is the
train
regular
around the
train.
Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I could not remember for the life of me which train is which.
Yeah. Yeah. This stops in Frontierland, Fantasyland, and then Main Street. So it's like mini transportation around the park. If you want to get from Main Street to Frontierland, you can just hop on the train and not walk it, or all the way to Fantasyland. Just take the train, which I
Yeah.
like to do all the time.
Yeah.
Saves me steps.
Oh, I remember the train now. Because I remember going on it, and then I would hear like Peter Pan on like the roof or something, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good attraction.
But yeah, I am excited for Villains Land though, because I don't know if you've seen Disney's I can't remember the name but there's like a TikToker
Mm-hmm.
and he posted the video of like the announcement of like which villain is going to be in the park.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully all of them.
Let's see.
Hopefully.
Gaston, Yzma,
Mm-hmm.
Queen of Hearts, Cruella, Lady
Mm-hmm.
Tremaine,
Mm-hmm.
the
Dr.
Evil Queen.
Facilier.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Evil Queen and her old evil, like the old hag counterpart,
Okay.
which I don't know how they're gonna do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And
Cool.
Ursula. They're gonna
Yeah.
add Ursula finally. We're gonna
Right.
have Ursula in the park finally.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I just listened to it last week. We did an interview with Pat Carroll before she passed away, probably a couple of years before she passed away. It was a fantastic interview. She came really from like vaudeville and Broadway, and then started doing some movies, and then got asked to do this part. And I can't imagine anybody doing Ursula now. I mean, that's the only thing I hear is Pat Carroll's voice and her laugh. And when she does her laugh in real life, it's the character. You're hearing she didn't change it. She didn't say like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this horrible, cackle." She just laughed, and that happened to be her laugh, and they captured it and recorded. But yeah, if you get a chance, go back and listen to that. It was a great interview, and I love listening to her just tell her stories. And that was one of the reasons really I started the podcast was I wanted to be able to talk to, the Imagineers, the designers, creators, and let them tell their stories because, once they get old and pass away, I mean, Bob Gurr is old. Once he passes away, who's going to tell his stories, and that's why they need to be, recorded and documented, so that we have these things to, pass on.
That's really my dream, is to tell his story and to tell
Yeah.
like all these other Imagineers their stories. And
Yeah, just reach out. A lot of them that are not really working for the Disney company are willing to just blabber on about what they've done. They just love doing it. So
I can imagine Bob Gurr has a lot of stories about Walt. And
oh yeah. He's got great stories. There was I had met him. I've met him several times, and a friend of mine is actually friends with his. Been to his house and stuff. But I was in the boardwalk, the Boardwalk Hotel, and I was waiting for somebody. And the previous night, I was at an event with Bob Gurr, and he was talking, all about Disney and making things and stuff like that. And I think he had another event that night, so he came into the lounge there. And as he was coming in, I said, "Hey, Bob, how are you?" I said, "Are you coming to get a drink?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, let me buy your drink." I said, "You want a Gertini?" That's what he calls his martinis. He calls them Gertinis. He says, "Yeah, I'll take a Gertini." He goes, "Do you know what goes in?" Yes. I said, "Trust me." I said, "I'll order the Gertini. If it's not correct, we'll send it back. But I'm pretty sure I know what you want." So orders a drink, and me and him sat down on the couch, and for over an hour, we just talked about everything and anything. We talked about Walt Disney, we talked about Marty Sklar, we talked about monorails, we talked about him kidnapping the president, all kinds of great stories, and there were other people in the lounge, but nobody like approached and came up and asked and everybody was listening to this conversation, but nobody got up from their seat. Everybody was just looking at us. I could feel everybody looking at the two of us sitting on this couch. And then Bob had to leave to go to this event. He got up and we said our goodbyes, and that's when everybody went over and asked for his autograph and take a picture. So, but it was a great time. But if you don't know the story, when Disneyland opened, Bob was driving the monorail at Disneyland, and Walt and President Nixon got in the monorail, and they left to do a loop around the park. But they did not have the Secret Service on the train, and the Secret Service said, we can arrest you for kidnapping the president because you left without the Secret Service. So he was almost arrested for kidnapping the president.
Oh my God, poor Walt. Poor Walt.
Poor Walt, poor Bob. The president probably didn't care.
It probably had a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So
poor Walt probably didn't have a good time after the fact because he was about to be arrested. But
yeah. Oh, please take me away. The next attraction at Disneyland, prison. Sponsored by the Orange County Sheriff.
At Boger Cabinetry and Design in Fishers, you truly save thousands on high-quality, ready-to-install finished kitchen cabinets. Visit our new showroom and let us help design and upgrade kitchens, bath vanities, offices, entertainment areas with a free consultation and see exactly what you'll be getting.
Buy this entire kitchen cabinet package for less than $2,500 or buy this entire cabinet package for less than $3,500.
When you buy our cabinets, you're getting the most affordable price, backed by top-notch customer service. Visit Boger Cabinetry and Design. We look forward to serving you.
Yeah, think about this. Talk about all the things that are coming. The only park I think next year that will not have construction, weirdly enough, will be Epcot. There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing currently announced or planned, and I was there yesterday, and there are currently no construction walls anywhere. So
I was thinking about that yesterday. Actually, I was thinking,
yeah,
to myself, for the next couple of years, I think Epcot's the only one that's not going to
yeah,
have a green wall.
yeah, exactly. Everything else is gonna have some kind of construction going on. So
Everywhere else is going to have those ugly green walls.
yeah, yeah. And another thing that they announced, and the construction has gone started again, is uh the previously called the Reflections Lodge, which was going to be next to Fort Wilderness, where River Country sat,
Mhm.
stopped during the pandemic, and that is now under construction again. I think they're calling it. They have a different name for it. It's not Reflections anymore. Lake Lodge or something. They have a different name for it, but that is going to be a great addition. Uh, and there will be cabins along the water like they did for Wilderness Lodge as well. Now, we don't know if that's going to be an all DVC resort or if it's going to be part DVC, part regular cash hotels.
I also, sorry, I was like looking at
Yeah.
things, like a list of things that are coming. I was thinking too, because they're also reimagining the Little Mermaid show in
Yes.
Hollywood Studios,
Yes. Yeah.
which I'm excited for, but also not excited for. One reason I'm not excited for is because I heard that they got rid of the mist that goes above your head to make it
Foggy, like you're underwater.
like you're underwater, and the
Yeah.
strobe lights, they got rid of that because it's like outdated. But I'm like, but that's what makes this team
Yeah.
feel like you're going under the water.
Yeah. The laser's giving it the kind of like wavy feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's speculation until they open the doors and we get in there and we see it. We don't know. I personally hope that they replaced all the carpeting and the chairs because it stunk in there. If it's
Yeah.
it could use a
Yeah.
good cleaning. I mean, the
Yeah.
carpet was more black than it was green.
I forgot about that. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
It was supposed to be green, but it didn't look it.
I
So
forgot about the smell and the
yeah.
oh my
So
god.
hopefully the seats and carpeting are new, unless they ran out of budget for the show. Yeah, interesting fact. I was talking to an Imagineer about Toy Story Land when they built it. I said, why did you not build any shade anywhere in this land? There's no place to get out of the sun. So his answer was, well, that's not our job. I'm like, what? He says, our job is to build the attractions and the land and the restaurants and the facilities and buildings. It is up to park operations to put in shade or seats.
What?
That's what he told me. I said, okay.
It is your job, sir. That's
He
what I
said,
would have
if
said.
it's part of a building or the attraction, because we don't get budget for seating or umbrellas or we don't get budget for that. We get budget for building the structures and the attraction, but not any of the amenities or the nice things that you all like. I'm like,
I would have been
like the fans in the queues is also not an Imagineering job. That would be park operations that would, put in that request and take it out of their budget. I'm like,
I would have been like, I
what do you want us to
literally
die before we get on the thing? Hey, another one, yeah, another one, Slinky Dog, passed out. Sorry.
I would have just literally just stood up and I would have just been like, it is
Yeah.
your job, sir.
Yeah. He was a pretty high up executive. I didn't want to piss him off. In case I need to speak to him again.
I mean, I'm toxic. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm toxic. I'll fight. I don't care.
Hey, listen, I've had cease and desist letters sent to me, so I'm willing to say anything too. But this guy just wanted to keep as a friend, and just in case I needed him again. What did we talk? Oh, we haven't talked about Animal Kingdom. So I don't know how I feel about. Oh, all right. I'm glad Dino Land's going because I don't know. It just I don't know.
Garbage. It's garbage.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
There was nothing there.
No.
Dinosaur is great, but I feel we're gonna have the same misfit problem with Splash Mountain, right? They're not gonna tear the thing down and build something new.
Mhm.
They're going to take the existing track and then overlay a story on top of that that's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was going to
Not
say,
the
isn't that going
Indiana
to be Indiana Jones?
Yes, not the Indiana Jones in California. It's gonna be a different story from that. So we're gonna get a different story, and it's the same ride vehicle, right? They're just gonna, retheme it to be Indiana Jones with a different story inside. So we'll see. You
Mhm.
know, uh, the queue in Disneyland, California is fantastic. I mean, they have a great queue. It's like one
Mhm.
of the longest queues in that park. I think it's like almost close to a half a mile, and there's a lot of stuff. It's almost like going on Expedition Everest. There's so much to see in the queue that you want to go in the queue. You don't want to go in
Mhm.
the lightning lane because there's a lot of things to see and take into the story. So this queue is obviously shorter, and I don't, unless they add on to the queue to make it, more part of the story. We'll see.
Mhm.
And then the other two, what is it? Encanto is coming there, right?
Mhm.
It really
Yeah. In
wasn't my
like the Americas or whatever, the
yeah,
tropical Americas.
right. Wasn't my favorite movie. I mean, it was okay. Wasn't great. Um, so we'll see how that goes, how they're going to fit Indiana Jones and Encanto in the same area.
That's what I was confused about because I was like,
Yeah.
Encanto makes sense, but I mean, I mean, Indiana Jones makes sense, but why Encanto?
Well, they're calling it the Americas. So what is that, like Brazil, and then South America is kind of where Indiana Jones did his thing. So that's why they're calling it the Americas, because it's based on South America.
Yeah, the tropical
Yeah,
Americas.
right.
Yeah,
The tropical Americas. Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
But I just, in my personal opinion,
Hmm.
this is my opinion. No one in that's listening to my podcast has to agree with me,
Right.
but I feel like Encanto could be put in the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And that's where I was surprised, like, when that movie came out, like they didn't quickly reimagine, the attraction in there
Mm-hmm.
to be Encanto.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is something at the end now, Miguel playing his guitar, and that's it. But they didn't. And I mean, Animal Kingdom is not my favorite park, and you can send the hate mail. I don't care. I find that there's a couple reasons why I don't like it. One is it's always twice as hot than any other park,
Mm-hmm.
because the tree cover keeps all the heat, like the heat of the pavement and the heat of the sun. You're just, something being cooked between leaves and concrete,
Yeah.
because it keeps all the heat in there. The other reason I don't like it is the walkways are not flat. They're like bumpy. There's trees. It's like I feel like I'm always tripping over something. Like, like
I
I
mean,
can't
true.
I can't get from point A to point B. Now, the other reason is when they used to have a parade in there. Oh my God, that park was a mess. If you had to leave for whatever reason when the parade was going on, you literally had to go around the entire park to get out the other side to walk out the exit, because it kind of took up the entire left-hand side of the park, and that was it. So if you had to go, you had to go the other way because there was no room. I mean, not me, but a friend of mine, actually, one of the ride vehicles went over their foot because it barely fit between the little tape line and the walkway. So That's why it's not my favorite place.
Mm.
And there's not enough attractions there for me. You know, I mean, I'm not saying like I need to ride Expedition Everest type attractions all day long. I love the shows. I love the Lion King show. I love the Nemo show.
Mhm.
They're fantastic. But after you do Everest and you see the two shows, what else is there now?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I think I like. There's the up show. There's the up show where they
Yeah.
do like the birds and stuff.
Birds. Yeah.
But I just went there once and I was like, I'm not doing it again. It's
Yeah.
the
How many
first.
times can you see that? You know?
It's the same bird. They're the same birds every
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And the
Mm.
safari too. I mean, yeah, you'll get lucky and you'll see the lion up on Pride Rock, and maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll see animals, or maybe you won't.
Yeah.
And I just recently found out that they don't do the night safari anymore. They shut down this thing for what, 3-6 months to put all this special lighting so that they can have the night safari. They can run the safari vehicles through and not really disturb the animals and trick them to think it was daylight, but just enough lighting so that you could see as a human, but not to trick the animals that, hey, it was daytime again.
Mm.
Um, so a lot of time and money and effort was spent into doing that, and now they're not even running the nighttime safaris anymore. They
Yeah,
start
they're not even
yeah.
utilizing that anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be cutbacks, could be, time, money, who knows? They don't have enough cast members. I still think in some places they are struggling, with the cast member headcount. So, and there that is one reason why park reservations still exist.
Mm.
Without park reservations, they don't know what park is going to be in demand, right? Before, boom, 9 o'clock, everybody went wherever they wanted, and Disney had no idea if everybody's going to the Magic Kingdom or to Epcot. Now, at least with park reservations, they go, oh, we have a lot of demand for this park today. So let's make sure that we can staff that park correctly for that day, you know?
Mhm.
So I think that is one reason why reservations still exist and may not go away for a very long time. They really can't, without the only other way to do that is if you were to purchase like a 4-day ticket and then you had to give Disney the order that you were going to do your parks, right? I was going to go Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Studios, Animal Kingdom. That would be the only way they can predict or have some kind of prediction of your crazy park madness order, right? Otherwise, it's just a guessing game on where people are going to go.
I don't know. To me, the two, it's like Disney has at least what I've noticed is Disney has prioritized the wrong things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially with like the guests. Like, I hate to talk about the DAS pass again because I
Yeah.
talked about it before, like a couple episodes
Mhm.
ago. But the DAS pass is something that
Yeah.
like a lot of people
Mhm.
we're looking forward to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now a lot of people, including myself, can't use it because
Mhm.
they changed the rules of like
Yeah.
who can use it and who can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So my girlfriend's got, several medical problems with that doesn't allow her to walk or stand for very long periods of time. And recently she tried again and they just came out and said, listen, we are not doing DAS Pass for any medical reasons. You have to be neurodivergent. And that is the only acceptable, thing. I said, well, the next time you call, just say you're neurodivergent and lie. Well, all right, so they take your annual pass away. Great. Great. So fine. Tell them thanks and you'll go to SeaWorld now. Or you can go to Universal Epic, which is going to be epic.
Yeah.
'Cause it's got Nintendo Land.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the new Wicked movie coming out, I really hope that they
Yeah.
build Oz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
movie was. I don't even know if you are into those kind of movies or not,
I
but
did see it. Yep.
yep. And I don't know if you've seen Wicked Part One yet, but it's
I
so
did.
good.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I had not seen it, the Broadway version.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming this story was similar to that
Yes,
or the same,
the same.
yeah, okay. So that's great. They stuck to that. Yeah, it was good. And the two leads were, did a great job.
Mhm.
Um, if they were actually singing or if it was auto-tuned.
It was live.
Yeah.
They did live singing the whole entire
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah. So,
Part One and Part Two.
yeah. So, yeah, it'll be great. I mean, I know they have some little pop-up thing at Universal currently
Yep.
for Wicked, but now they really should be thinking about something else. So,
Yeah.
and it, here's the difference between Disney and say Universal. 99.9% of everything that goes into a Disney park is their own intellectual property. They own the rights to the movies, the characters, the stories, and all those things.
Mhm.
Universal, on the other hand, does not typically own, like, they're borrowing some Marvel stuff
Mhm.
from us. All right, they own Jimmy Fallon for the rest of his life. But there are other things in the park that they don't own, that they're borrowing from other movies and things like that. So that's, like Nintendo Land would be a great example. They have permission obviously from the Nintendo company to
Mhm.
build this land. They pay probably Nintendo a large sum of money,
Mhm.
much like they pay Harry Potter a large sum of money,
Mhm.
for all of the intellectual property that they're using in the parks. Um, so that's kind of really the main difference between those two themed parks
Mhm.
is, Universal has a lot of borrowed things,
Mhm.
where, Disney, it's their own.
Yeah.
So
Because I know for a fact that Wicked is Universal
yeah.
themed,
Mhm.
so
Yes.
they
Yeah.
own that.
Yeah, they
So
own that, right. So that would be easy pocket change, because I think people would go to that. If
yeah,
they built a Wizard of Oz land, yeah. I mean, who
yeah.
hasn't seen it?
I'd go to Munchkinland. I'd go to Shiz University.
Yeah. Who wouldn't follow the Yellow Brick Road? Yeah.
Right. I'd go
Yeah.
to Emerald City.
Yeah. You can make some, literally, you could follow that Yellow Brick Road just like Dorothy did.
Mhm.
And then at the end is a super e-ticket, crazy Oz attraction. That would
Mhm.
be like a no-brainer,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
no-brainer. Literally, you meet the Scarecrow, you meet the Tin Man, you meet the Lion, you get to
Mhm.
Oz, boom, e-ticket attraction at the end of that's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I read somewhere, our Ariana Grande, she even was like, our Ariana Grande was like, I really want Universal to make
Mhm.
Oz theme land.
Yeah. Yeah. They really should. It
Yeah,
would be very, it takes a couple of years, but I think the concept, like, it's an easy story to tell,
yeah.
you know. Um and,
Oh,
like I'm saying, I mean, you start from Dorothy's house in a black and white kind of land
mhm.
to the time that you get to Munchkin Land and you literally exit, you know, out of the house and into I'm all right. Maybe I need to go work for creative over at Universal. Where's their job board? Let me go see if they got any openings.
Like no, but no, seriously, like
Yeah.
there could be like a ride where like you ride Elphaba's broom
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Glinda's bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, bring Twister back.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh, I missed that ride.
Yeah.
I missed
Bring
that attraction.
bring Twister back, but you put Dorothy's house in it now.
Yeah. I really
Yeah.
do miss that ride.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was a volunteer fireman, and I didn't get a chance to see the backdraft attraction. I really wanted to go see that. So,
Mhm.
I was in enough backdrafts myself. I don't probably need to. I'd be like, hey, put this fire out. What are you doing? We're burning up.
I heard a rumor though when they fit like that Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt when they filmed,
hmm
they hated each other.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They
I
did
could,
not get along.
yeah. Yeah. I don't think everybody does on a movie set.
No,
You know, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely.
they make it seem like they do, but they don't.
Yeah. Well, they're getting paid a lot of money to act like they like each other.
To act like they're in love,
Yeah,
like they love
exactly.
each other.
I love you for the $30 million I'm being paid to do this movie, but I hate
Uh,
you 30 other million ways. Don't get out of my trailer.
oh my god.
Yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting next couple of years. I think 2025, 26, 27, I think is when all of this will kind of come to fruition. So we'll have to see what happens.
Mm.
You know, it'll be interesting.
Yep. Yes, it'll be interesting, but we also
Mhm.
don't know if it'll be good.
No, we don't know. And Disney too, outside the parks, I mean, they got quite a lineup of movies coming out
Mhm.
next year as well. So,
Mhm.
um, see how that goes as well.
Yeah.
They got a lot of Marvel, Pixar, Disney,
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the Snow White movie. I mean, some things should be just left alone.
When I went to go see Wicked Part 1 for the
Yeah.
first time,
Right.
like when I first I saw it like 4 times, so but
Wow.
yeah, I saw it 4 times, but the very first time that I saw it, I saw the
Trailer.
Snow White trailer.
Mm, yeah.
I kept like glaring at glaring at the screen, like I hate you, I hate
Yeah.
you.
I know. I know. Well, so interestingly enough, from what I read in Dateline and other Hollywood things, originally they had a black person cast for Snow White,
Huh?
and uh, they, I think, were not using little people as dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they got a lot of flack for that on the
Yeah.
on the internet, and then changed to Rachel Weisz, and she is not saying very good things about the movie.
Rachel Zegler is
Yes,
not.
yeah,
Rachel Zegler, yeah.
great. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, Rachel Zegler is not saying good things at all.
Yeah, and the little people community is still upset because I think the little people in this are CGI. They're not even little people.
They're
They're
not.
they're not actors. They're just all CGI'd in there.
Yeah.
And apparently, I heard Gail Gadot saying Snow White is not saved by her prince.
Yeah. Oh no,
So,
yeah, her and Rachel Zegler both said that. And I'm
yeah,
like, is
isn't
she
isn't that the original story?
yeah, and you're right. And Rachel Zegler also said she's not gonna be saved by True Love's first kiss, and she's not
Yeah,
gonna be saved by the prince. I'm like, then
yeah.
how the fuck is she gonna wake up?
A smack in the head, by Dopey. Uh, but here's the thing: you can be upset with Disney any way you want, but think of this, kids. Think of this. Most of the stories Disney is telling is from Grimm fairy tales, which was written like in the 1900s. I'm
Mhm.
not exactly sure,
Mhm.
but they are very, very old fairy tales. Disney twisted them a little bit to make them more fairy tale for kids and, to bring the adult
Mhm.
into it. But they were not written by Disney, most of these things.
Mhm.
Uh, like Frozen is a nice story written by
Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes, Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes, okay.
So don't blame Disney for the way these things happen. They didn't write them. They're just telling the story that was written bazillion years ago, right? So they didn't make a Snow White. They just recreated her in film, So I don't know. That
Oh,
movie.
The only difference is, though, this live action is terrible.
Yeah. And we're going to see Mustafa actually coming up on the 20th. And they're calling this a live action. Everything in it's fake. It's all CGI animals.
Yeah.
You didn't get a lion to walk across the Sahara for you, did you? With a leash, and then you erase the leash from the movie. These are CGI people,
Yeah.
And even like Jungle Book, the only thing live in it was the kid. Everything else was fake.
Yeah.
So don't call them live action. Call them reimagining of the Jungle Book story.
Yep.
Not a live action version.
I think, speaking of Mufasa for a little bit, I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit here.
Okay, go.
I hate this idea. I hate it. Who cares about how Mufasa became the king and all that crap?
I just read today, they're throwing around the idea of telling the Timba Pumbaa origin story, how they became friends.
No, thank you.
You don't want to know?
No.
You don't want to know that they were at a bar getting drunk and they decided to be friends?
Leave stuff to the imagination.
Eating grubs and worms. I don't know. Sounds interesting. What about a live action of Stitch? That, what planet did you go to get Stitch?
That was cute. That I saw that trailer for that, and oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah. Still not my favorite movie.
No. I mean, it's not my favorite movie, but I think they made Stitch look so cute.
Yeah. Well, is he live? No. He's CGI.
He's CGI, but still he made him cute.
They still didn't go to another planet to get him. He's fake.
I wonder, who is Stitch? Who they got
doing the voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And here's so we got Moana 2 this year, which was okay, but not as good as the first. I think the songs in the first one were way better.
I'm not gonna go see Moana 2.
Yeah. Wait till it comes on Disney Plus. You'll be better off. But we still have the live action coming this year. So we're gonna get like Moana 3.
Well, and that's the end of this episode, guys. I am so sorry for the abrupt ending. He had an emergency to attend to, so he had to leave. But I will leave all his links down below, and you guys should check out his podcast. It's called Disney Parks Podcast. It's really good, actually. But yep, that's the end of this episode. So I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.